Hi guys, and welcome to the latest episode of the VSpecter Podcast. My name is Ocean, and I'm joined by Jazzy, Grim, and Freshie today. Hi guys!
Hello, Jazzy.
As you can see, we have awesome new technology. It was in the previous episode too, where you will be able to see everybody's Discord profile pictures light up whenever they speak. So I hope that will help you be able to identify our voices a lot better, because I know some of us do have some funky voices sometimes. We have a whole slew of topics to get into today, so let's get started, shall we?
The first one being the teased voice bank from Coracle. That would be the first Mandarin vocal on VoiSona, which I think is really exciting for it. Because one, a new language to VoiSona. Okay. And then two, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this vocal would be outside the current project Coracle is doing, as in like they wouldn't be in the same group as Selena. So I think that's interesting as well. But I'm very excited because I'm all for language accessibility in these vocal synth engines.
It's so strange because Tabio as a whole just doesn't really seem to do very much outside of Japanese.
Yeah.
So this is very out of left field.
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
It seems...
Oh, go ahead, Jazzy.
It seems like Coracle has a goal of bringing languages to the software, which is very exciting. Chevio has intended in the past to have Mandarin as a language, but just never got around to it. So it's nice to see it finally happen.
Mm-hmm.
Relating to VoiSona in specific, there was somebody dug in the files a while back, and it's been rumored for a while that Korean was going to be added to VoiSona, much like Korean is being added to SynthV, but that's for later.
Well,
yes.
But I'm glad to see that there's rumors of other languages going around as well, like possibly Spanish and now confirmed Mandarin.
Mm-hmm.
hey.
Yeah. I do agree with what Grim said earlier, where to me I would always kind of give him the impression that like it may or may not have been intentional on Trevio's end to kind of focus on a Japanese speaking market, which is fine. I mean, they're a Japanese company. So I hadn't anticipated them to branch outside of English or much less Japanese, but I'm happy to see that like they are interested. They are interested in these other languages and like kind of providing an avenue for people who want to use the engine in their native language. So I think that's really cool. So
Me too.
I'm just very excited. Even though I'm probably not going to use the Mandarin vocalist, I think just like the idea of because correct me if I'm wrong, Jazzy and Ocean, I know you guys use VoiSona a bit more often than I do, but if I'm not mistaken, if you enter in a word, or I guess like in Japanese case it would be like kanji. I might be using that word wrong, but if you were to enter a given word that's not supported by the native language of the bank, it will do its best to grab phonemes that replicate that sound. I know that's how it is for Japanese banks into English like words. So I assume it's the same vice versa, and I hope it's the same with Mandarin because timing on VoiSona is really good. So even if like let's say I don't have this Mandarin vocal, I could probably do my best to get as close as possible by using the phonemes that come up when I enter in the lyrics.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. Basically, the program has dictionaries for languages, but has a dictionary for English, Japanese to English. So I agree. I really do hope it gets a Chinese one.
I hope it gets updated dictionaries for like each language, so not just for Japanese into English, but for English into Japanese, English into Mandarin, Mandarin into English, Mandarin into Japanese, etc.
Yeah.
In my personal experiments, because I got Selena recently, yay! I posted a video recently, but in my private experiences of using VoiSona, I tried to brute force Selena into Korean. It went much better than expected, and I have a feeling that it could be easier. Though what I'm more interested in than like, people would like hope for like a whole bunch of things. I would be extremely interested if VoiSona did end up doing cross language. I think that would be really nice.
Oh, actually, maybe they came with VoiSona, but I know they said Chevio was not capable of it.
Chevio, I don't think is capable, but if VoiSona could, it would be nice.
We'll just have to see, because I do remember hearing this, but if I'm not mistaken, the company that owns Ibis Paint bought Techno Speech, so they're kind of like under new management in a way. So I'm curious to see where that will take them, because see, I like Ibis Paint.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's recent. It was recent. I mean, they bought them like a year ago, but like only recently are they like restructuring things. The main reason was that, actually, no, I don't know if they bought Techno Speech or if Techno Speech like got a loan of money from Ibis, but either way, like they're going through like structural changes, mainly because the company legit was on its way to like bankruptcy. Like they were just not they were not doing well financially.
Ooh.
So yeah, so hopefully the future is brighter. I know the recent vocalist that should be coming out soon, I think the name is EU, like EU, but I remember hearing that she like her special physicals like literally sold out within like days or weeks or something. Like she's insanely popular. So hopefully she brings in enough money and then they can use that momentum to like make other voice banks. But again, we'll just have to see. VoiSona, but VoiSona is something to keep an eye on. Okay, I'm just so excited for it.
Me too.
I can't speak from a commercial perspective, but as somebody who does configuration work for UTAU voice banks and has like seen a whole bunch of proprietary rec lists, and I make my own rec lists, the configuration for a bank, it does take a lot, especially depending on what format you use. I don't know what VoiSona specifically does, but in the terms of like training a diff singer or any like AI bank, like generally, I don't know how Vocaloid, VoiSona, Chevio work, but for diff singer in specific, the labeling is the most intensive part, because you have to go in and mark every single phoneme and phoneme change so that that data is there for like whatever you're feeding the like input data for your diff singer, whether it's you're training locally or you're using the Google Colab. And the timing on those can be very finicky. If you want a really, really well-made diff singer, I would turn your eyes over to Immortal Idol Lie. If you're looking for a free AI bank, I don't know how the fuck Lie is free, honestly. Julie, chef's kiss, I love your work.
Didn't they like have like a test for Lie come out recently?
I think Julie just dropped Lie's latest update.
That's what it is. Got you.
Lie was just updated, I think, as of yesterday. But this straying a little bit from the topic of Coracle, should we take a listen to this new Mandarin bank? It was teased on Chinese New Year, so let's take a listen, shall we?
Wait, actually, before we start, I just want to mention that we're talking about VoiSona, and then we moved into Lie. And I feel like it would be wrong of me not to say we should ship Chisei and Lie.
Yes. Oh my god, everybody stream Queen, because it is literally the biggest Yume ship song out there, and I support Chisei and Lie all the way. I love them so much.
Real.
They are dating.
Yo.
Gay.
Gay.
Okay. That's so.
Oh my god, they're so good.
I'm a little sad it's not a dude though.
Help.
Help.
I know people. You know what? Whatever. But I don't know. I just wish there were more men on freaking Chevio.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for now we have Mikey.
He's cool. I like him.
Mikey, Kirune, and Soyogi are the 3 men. And then if you want to count Pepper technically is a guy, but they're voiced by a lady. So it depends on how you want to go about it. But I get what you mean. I think for me, I would want more. I don't explain it. I think VoiSona covers the range to not need like voice banks that identify as men, just because they do have banks like Chisei and Chi-Flower that are very androgynous, so it works. But I do agree with you that character diversity could work as well. So either way.
I mean, the thing is, Soyogi and Kirune, I gotta be so honest with you, I don't like them very much at all. Especially Kirune. I wish I did. If I love his design, I spiritually want to like him. Mikey, he's genuinely one of the best male vocals that's ever existed, ever.
I'm glad
you like him out. It's just like CS7. I think that was what it was. Original concave.
Oh, your sound Chevio? Yeah.
Even though it's not concave. Yeah, it lent itself so well to male vocals. Like, male vocals were just crazy good on that one for some reason. And then I don't know why they just ignored that. And they just kind of kept moving the engine away from that to the point where it's just like male vocals were just not only just ignored, but they just don't sound as good as they used to on the engine. But I don't know. Maybe one day they'll correct it.
I find personally that both Chevio and VoiSona's rendering engine doesn't suit male vocals, simply just because of the way that the tidiness of the engine and just the way that it is designed. Like, you've heard the Chevio buzz. You've heard that term thrown around a lot. I think because since the Chevio buzz is in that higher frequency range, it makes it hard to properly synthesize male vocals on Chevio or VoiSona. Just from a technical standpoint, this is why some UTAL resamplers take better to male vocals or more higher pitched voice acted character vocals rather than just your standard UTAL. Like, I find that using Ruko male, so Ruko Kire, male, masculine.
Every sample all the time. Always every sample.
I find that he works much better on more sampler compared to a world-based resampler like Worldliner or Stray Cat. Or TNFNDS.
Ever use Worldliner?
I know some people that use Worldliner. It really just depends on the quality of your bank and what it sounds good with. It's also up to personal preference because I fight with some people a lot about how their bank absolutely devours on more sampler, but they prefer a different renderer. Like, I'll fight with my friend over Space World all the damn time. So
I don't know. I feel like more sampler is just that all-encompassing good one. Like, there's only one or two banks I think that sound better off of it versus on it, and that's Matsuda Popoyo. I think he sounds better off more sampler just because he's so finicky.
More sampler is good for a whole lot of banks, but a lot of artificial vocals do not play well or nice at all with more sampler.
Adachi Ray? Is she not good on that?
It depends. I can cover that more once we get to Machina Mori. Because hi, I was on Machina Mori. I have a lot to say about it. But it's really up to personal preference. And it's also just a lot of like shopping. I have like a giant resampler folder, and I tend to, if a bank's not playing well with More Sampler, if it's not playing well with Worldliner, if it's not playing well with MacRes, I'll go resampler shopping.
Do not forget the wave tool. That matters so much.
Yeah, no, don't forget your wave tool. Wave tool for VCV on top.
I do want to get to the other releases, but I do want to make a quick comment before I shift to that. And that I think the conversation you two just had is very insightful to how different engines and the way that they synthesize their voices does make a world of a difference in some cases. And I would wager that in most cases, it can sometimes be the make or break for what makes a voice appealing. Because I really don't think we could have gotten like a Petal on Vocaloid that would have had that Utao charm, and vice versa. A Miku on Utao that would have had a Vocaloid Miku charm, you know? They would do their own things and they would probably be really good at it. But I don't know. That's just like a thought I was having like during your guys' conversation, that it really can make or break.
You know, that's a really good thought. Before we tangent to the other releases, I do want to like add on to that where you said, people have, and I don't encourage this at all, people have ported voice banks to Utao. Don't do this. One, it breaks the TOS. But two, it really does give off like a completely different vibe. I think when you're trying to pick out a vocal synth in general, look at the engine that it's on. Look at what's provided. Like if you're going Gumi V6 versus Gumi SynthV, or Hibiki Koto V6 versus Hibiki Koto SynthV. Like, what sound are you looking for personally? I think that's a very good place to start.
But yeah,
speaking of these new releases,
yes, the next release is the two Chevio vocals, I think from a company that's like, I'm not sure the relation, but it's with Honeyworks. The voice banks are Hano and Koto Hakoniwa. I hope I said their names right. Sorry if I didn't.
Hano and Koto Hakoniwa.
Yes, they are very, very pretty. And their voices, I would say their voices are pretty good. Like, I don't know. I don't use Chevio, so don't take it as gospel, of course. But I heard Chevio, only Chevio at the moment. But they are really good. I would implore people to check out demos of them. They are currently being sold on DL's site. So if you guys, I would love to explain the coupon system, but I unfortunately am learning it myself. But if you guys can find someone who can explain it to you, definitely learn about it and consider checking them out if you have Chevio. If not, no worries. But yeah, I think it's really exciting because they announced them, I want to say a year ago, right? Like I felt like it was a year ago we were talking about them. Yeah. They're like a lot on the face of the earth, and then came back in like November or December for people who pre-ordered, and then just officially released this month. So they've taken their sweet time, but I think it's a good product. So yeah, if y'all want to check it out. But you guys have any comments on them? There isn't really much because most of their demos are like a year old or like months old.
Yeah,
but
to say.
There's not that much to say.
Gotta be honest with you. They kind of remind me a little bit too much of Chevio 1.0 versus 2.0. They just have more of Chevio buzz, which yeah.
It's that the Chevio engine noise is definitely an acquired taste, but I would say that their voices kind of like exceed that. Like I would put, don't get mad at me, Jazzy, I would put them at the same level as Ia, maybe slightly lower, maybe more like on an One tier of Chevio synthesis, where they're just really good. Just in general, like regardless of 0.0s. Like I think, like I use Ia and One as an example because they're on both editors, but like compared to the others, I guess like you could, I mean, Kafu's also there, but I guess you could like pull like others like Rime and Koko and stuff. But I would say that like these two definitely have a nice voice. Do I think it has any staying power? That is to be seen, right? Because they just released. But I do think that if someone were to say, "Oh, I want to try these voice banks out," or like I want to look into them, I would definitely encourage it. Like I don't think Sorry, is it bad? I'm having a hard time thinking of a bad Chevio voice bank. I really can't think of one. Like maybe one that's required. Yeah, most of them are really good on their own merits. So I'm totally not trying to plug Chevio, y'all. But I would say that they're pretty high quality for what we have on Chevio so far. So definitely check them out. But if no one has any further comments, we do have an upcoming release, and that would be Kasu. Can you say the name? I can't say it. This is embarrassing. Can you say the name, Ocean?
Give me a second. Cascade Tsumugi.
Mm-hmm. Yes, she is coming very soon. I want to say March 3rd. March 3rd she's coming.
I think so.
Yeah, I know she's like really, really close. Because I remember being like, oh, she's coming out around the Nintendo Switch. I really do think it's March 3rd. But she actually has her demo, or a demo, because she's had several, but a demo made by Oster Project. So if you guys haven't checked it out, go for it. She is, I was not really aware of it prior, but she's a VTuber voice bank. So basically on the same tier as like Lunon for VoiSona. Is Kafu a VTuber or like Utaite at the very least?
Kafu, I think, is an Utaite.
Singer, actually.
I see.
Professional singer. I don't remember.
And then
Kaf is a professional singer, but if you're looking at a VTuber, there is a Kizuna Ai voice bank on Chevio.
Yeah.
Not more popular. Why is that not more popular?
Because it sounds like ass. Anyway.
Oh, I was gonna say it, but I wasn't gonna say it like that. But you know, since you already put it out there, yeah, that's kind of the reason. He's not the best, but yeah, no, I definitely think it's really interesting, the rise of like VTuber banks. I don't know if that was a thing before AI synthesis.
I mean, I just thought where Chevio did that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I know Chevio did that a lot, but it's just like we're seeing it a lot more. I'm not like mad or anything. I just think it's a very interesting trend because VTubers are kind of like, this is gonna sound really dorky, but I feel like VTubers are kind of like the guinea pigs of what it would be like if you put a well-known person's voice on an engine. Like we do have parallels. Like obviously most of the Vocaloid, the Kryptonloids are voiced by people who voice anime characters and stuff. But we're talking like, take Koff for example. Like Koff had to go to the point of like actually wanting to make their voice different because they didn't feel comfortable, while others are indifferent. And I think that for people like Koff and other VTubers who have more of a like an active presence, they're kind of like a guinea pig in a way to like, what if, I'm not saying we should have this, but I'm just putting it out there as an example. But what if we were to have like a Justin Bieber AI or like, not an AI, I hate using that word, a Justin Bieber synthesizer V2 vocalist, okay? Or like an Ariana Grande VoiSona, like just silly stuff.
Don't
like
even
that.
start with Ariana Grande. Okay.
No, I'm not saying it shouldn't happen, but I'm just saying that it's interesting because we'll never get, I don't think it's a hot take, but I would hope not. I don't think we would ever get to the point where we'd actually put like celebrity singers as voice banks on an AI level. But I do think it's interesting that we're seeing it with Utaitas mainly. And
I mean, yeah. To be clear, this technically did start on Vocaloid because of Internet Co. They gave us Gumi and they gave us Gakupo. You just got some. Like, the idea of famous person on engine existed for a while, but having an Utaite or having someone who was more closer linked to V-Synth or anime culture as a general is definitely something that Chevio pioneered. Because obviously things like Kafu and Sekai and Rime and all that very much got popular because of Chavio.
Isn't
And I think what happened after that was I think Yamaha also took notice of that, because a lot of the VX beta banks kind of feel like they're in the same blood of what Chavio was doing with the Kafu and stuff. Yeah, especially Cameron. Canon Kanade honestly just feels like she wants to be on Chavio. She sounds like that to me. I think they did that on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't Soyogi voiced by like a famous voice actor too?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, famous person's voice on engine has happened for a long time. Famous person on AI engine, while it is relatively new, it's not unheard of. I think my opinion on it is that if we were to, like, put a famous American singer on an AI engine, or a famous whatever singer, whatever language, like, you know, fuck it, we get Lisa from Blackpink on fucking SynthV too, okay?
That would be crazy, and that would sell like hotcakes, but continue on.
It would be crazy. It would sell like hotcakes. I think that you would, in fact, be paying a premium.
Mm-hmm. And that licensing, ooh, I'm sorry.
This would be
I just
Fukafu all over again, and I feel like a lot of VSynth companies don't want to touch that.
That's so funny. Though I think it would be, I don't want it to happen, but I would like to entertain the idea in my head. I would hate to be on Twitter when that happens, but I would love to entertain like a what if scenario.
I would hate to be on Twitter.
I would not want to be, I would have to start muting SynthV, AI, you name it, like just anything, because after seeing the work people do with RVC and stuff already with these K-pop idols and just other celebrity singers or American celebrity singers, I think it's really, it's not normal. So I guess in a way, RVC is actually the more accurate guinea pig of a what if scenario. And a lot of it is just people wanting to like cover songs, but no one seems interested in making them, which I think is interesting. Like I can't recall an RVC that gained so much traction and it was actual original music. A lot of it was like, oh, what if this person sung this? And I was gonna say there's no shame in it, and I remember what RVC is, so yes, there is shame in it.
There is a lot of shame in it. If you're not using it consensually.
Yeah. But no, that's really funny. But I'm glad you guys brought it up, because I guess it was a bit short-sighted of me to forget that a lot of the voice providers for Gumi, Fukase, Gakpo, Soyogi, etc., like the list goes on and on, they are popular like singers in the respective like countries and languages. So that was short-sighted of me. So my apologies. But yeah, no. I just think it's funny because I do want to say, I think what strikes Tsumugi different to me than Gumi did is Gumi kind of outgrew her VP. Like, Gumi is just Gumi now. It isn't like Gumi from insert her voice provider. Isn't her VP Megumi? Or am I making that up? Okay.
Megumi, I don't know if it's Okada, because I think that's a different person.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I'm just gonna stick to Gumi's VP, but if we ever figure out the name, that would be great. But I feel like Gumi really has grown into her own character, kind of like in the way that Miku has. Like, they just kind of exceed their VP, not to discredit their VP's current work or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, they kind of stand as their own now, which is really cool to see. I just don't think that would happen with a bank like Tsumugi, because it's so intertwined with the already existing character, if that makes sense.
Right.
You know?
So with these, like, because we as Project Coraline are actually running into this dilemma a little bit with one of our banks. When you have an established character IP already, it's going to be incredibly hard to differentiate or dissociate the bank from the character IP and or the voice actor or people behind it. We're currently having this problem with Fandroid Mark II. If you know anything about Fandroid, if you know anything about that situation, stop, drop it, put it in a bag, and throw it away, because we don't have any association with it. I promise you that. But just the thing about you have a character, okay? You want to make a V-synth, and like everybody's consenting and everything. Because that is interlinked and that's intertwined in such a way, it's going to be hard to either create the distinction or to make these characters completely separate. Like how Kapu is going to be tied to Kaf, even though the main thing that they share is the voice provider, and that's it. They don't necessarily have like similar designs. They're not like separate. You take Kizuna Ai, you put her on Chevio, it's still Kizuna Ai, and people are going to relate that back to Kizuna Ai all the time. So I think the lesson to take away from this here is like when we're talking about characters on engines, or specifically relating to voice banks on engines, I think it's important to make the distinction between the character as the voice bank and the character as the character. Because some characters, they're not like Gumi, they're not like Miku. They don't outgrow their source, they don't outgrow their voice provider or anything.
Right. But yeah, I think it's a very interesting like trend and dynamic. But speaking of characters, you guys may or may not have heard this like very like small on the download project referred to as Machina Mori. It kind of had like a few like popular producers that like you probably have heard of, but like seriously, like bit aside, like Machina Mori is like a really good album that you guys, if you haven't already been consumed, should indulge in, because just from the first song to the last song, like it is an amazing listen through. It released a year ago.
Sorry, excuse me.
Wrong album. It released a week ago.
On the date of this recording.
Yes, and it is already made like a really good impression on people. I will give the floor to you, Ocean, and we will just kind of toss around the discussion from there. But yeah, Machina Mori. Ocean, what are your thoughts?
Hi guys. I was on Machina Mori. I am the tuner for Furu Machine and Atachire no Hansu, otherwise known as the Ruminations of Adachi Rei. The amount of work that went into this album was absolutely outstanding. I've said this a lot in interviews. People have asked me on my Straw page. People have just commented and said like, oh, I've listened to the entirety of Machina Mori 300 times now. I think I'm making good progress on my Straw page. I see you. I completely empathize with you. I was looping all of the whips, the entire album during production. And when I tell you that the entire production server, so pretty much all of us, minus Jamie Page, because I don't think she was in either of the listening parties, pretty much all of us started like breaking down sobbing when we got to Wireframe, which is the final song on the album besides the extra, which is the remaster of Gimmick Girl. But all of us were crying. There's so much passion, there's so much love put into this project, and I think it truly shows with the cohesiveness of it, and I think it really brings the question of what is humanity and what is machinery to the table. But I'm curious. I'd like to know your guys' thoughts, or if you have any song-specific questions for me related to For Machine or the Ruminations of Adachi Rei.
I listened to it like 5 times in a row. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I want to like. I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time articulating greatness. Give me a second.
You can't explain peak because it's peak.
Right. Right. I will say that first and foremost, kudos to everyone who worked on the project and all aspects of it, whether it was tuning, arranging a song, writing the lyrics, getting the album or project together, like for all of it. Like just kudos to everyone. I'm like just certain it was a ton of work. And I will say, like in actual regards to like the album itself, the grip. Okay, I don't know if you caught the P consonant. The grip that the mechanical side of the album has on me. Like just like again, this is both sides of the album are good, but the grip that mechanical has, okay, like it's. I can't articulate, y'all. This is embarrassing. I'm on a podcast and I can't talk. But like I'm being so serious.
What's your favorite song on Mechanical?
What's my favorite song on Mechanical? So this is a hard question that I ask myself every day. It's the first song, the second song, the third song, the fourth song, the fifth song, the sixth song. Like all of it. Like it's the entire thing is good. Like I don't know what I don't know what sort of voodoo you guys put in the Machine side of Machina Mori, but it has a chokehold on me.
Can I?
And I feel the need to say this. I love Mortal too. Okay, Mortal is an amazing part of the album too, but Mechanical has a grip on me.
Can I tell you a public secret? This is a public secret. Because it was mentioned in the interviews, and I have no idea if anybody watched the interviews. The title track for Mechanical, for Machina, which is iTunes for Hypnopossum, it was the first song done. From start to finish, it took maybe a week. Like,
Wow.
Hypnopossum cooked. And when I had hopped into the server, like, they were still sharing whips and stuff, and I was like, Umfi, can I tune for you? And they're like, yes, tune for me. Because I had been begging them for, like, 3 months at that point of, like, can I tune an Utah original for you? But they send me the SVP, and they're like, oh, here's the instrumental. And I'm like, oh my god. And I got to hear it with the beta vocals and everything, and I was just sitting there bouncing, and I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah.
oh my god, like this, it was like one of the best things that I'd ever heard. And when we finally got the masters back and everything, I got to hear the master, and I was like, holy fucking shit. I started crying. I started uncontrollably crying, especially when we listened to like all of the masters in a VC. I was just sobbing the entire time. Because like there's an ongoing joke. There was an ongoing joke in the server where it was just like, what if this is just absolute dog shit and we all gaslit ourselves into thinking this was peak? But that's no, crazy. It's peak. So
I'm glad it is.
It was really insane. The popularity that this album has gotten, I never anticipated something like this. And I mean, like, to be fair, Jamie Page is on it, but even then, I wasn't expecting it to explode. And sorry, you can hear I'm getting a little emotional. I wasn't expecting it to explode. I wasn't expecting, you know, all the people that have been inspired by Machina Mori, because also public secret, Machina Mori started because Zero Tenshi failed their driver's test.
Oh. And then what happened?
And they were like, I failed my driving test. And then like a couple weeks later, they passed their driving test and they were riding on the high. And they were like, who wants to do an Adachi Ray album with me? And that's where that really started and really took off. It's just insanely beautiful what people in this community to do, and I'm so glad to see that people from the community are treating the community as a community and not a war zone.
Right. Yeah.
We all have our opinions, we all have what we're entitled to, but like we have our reservations. We shouldn't be shoving our opinions in other people's throats, and I think we've created something beautiful. We were talking about More Sampler earlier, Grim.
Yeah.
We were talking about More Sampler. Can I tell you a secret? Most of, if not all of the vocals on Machina Mori, I think were rendered using More Sampler. Oh, thank you, Jazzy, for pulling up Lucy's absolutely worth it.
We're like, look at Jazzy giving a visual. Yes.
Yeah, special kudos to Lucy Ellis. Ayumi, I love you. Your art is absolutely beautiful. It's edible. You can get all these tracks for pre-order. You can get the deluxe edition. You can get the charm. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. All of these. We have a pay hip site, and it should be on the Twitter. But More Sampler. A lot of there's. Let me think about. So, for Machina uses Adachi Ray's VCCV English configuration, which was made by Nier using RVC. I know there was a bit of drama on, the places, the sites a while ago concerning Adachi Ray RVC, but honestly, we just used what was available to us. I also did for Adachi Rei no Hantsu, the Ruminations of Adachi Rei, I used the VCV that was made using RVC that was configured by Nier. But other people on the album, I think Zero Tenchi and the tuner for Keys Gen's Visions, Hua Style, Alex, I think they both used Adachi Rei Arpacing, which is also configured by Nier. Dav P used Adachi Ray's CV bank, her original CV bank for Eden, which is impressive and mind-blowing.
I agree.
I can send a few links after if you want to grab a screen recording of her tweet and just throw that up there because that's insane. But one by Staircat was done with a private C+V bank, I believe. And I think 8 Billion Shapeshifters uses Ray's original CV. And I believe so does Wireframe, but I could be wrong on Wireframe. I don't know what was used for Wireframe. It could be Nier's VCV. But Adachi Ray has so many banks, and even though not all of them are official, I think it's beautiful that people were able to use her in no matter what shape or form to create something beautiful. I cried so hard. It's peak.
Jazzy, Grim, do you guys have any thoughts on Machina Mori? Any favorite tracks?
Yes, tell me your favorite tracks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
don't think I have a favorite track. I just genuinely, because it's an album for me that I struggle to sit down and listen to one song from. I have to listen.
You always
to the
have to go in for at least 3, otherwise you're doing a disservice.
Yeah, and it's just legitimately. I don't even mean this as a hyperbole. I might be a bit delulu when I say it, but I think it's literally perfect. Quite literally perfect.
You are not the first person to say that.
Yeah, it just I adore it. I don't know how else to put it. It's very inspirational to me. It made me very happy, very very happy.
Yeah,
I love this album with my whole heart. Yes.
Grim, any thoughts?
Yeah, my favorite was Wireframe.
Wireframe. Oh, that's a really popular one. One of my friends is like, I'm gonna work on a cover of this as soon as it comes out, and I'm like, oh my god, you're gonna make me cry.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any questions for me? Let's turn this into an impromptu interview here. Grill me.
It's a tune. How dare you guys not invite me to tune?
Weh. I just knew people, sadly.
Oh, well.
If
If I were to have a question, I would say that, my question would mainly have to do with, like, how does it feel to be, like, on an amazing project? I'm joking. No, my question would be more like, my question would mainly be just, like, for you, Ocean,
Yes.
you know, when the album dropped, like, this is a really weird question. So, like, you may need Ariana Grande to hold your finger for you or something. But,
I'm gonna need to hold space for this question, I guess.
yeah. But, like, from the window of, like, possibly the relief you may have felt after, like, finally getting it out, it's finally on streaming, to really realizing with, like, outside of, like, you know, the group listening sessions you guys had, really realizing the impact and impression that the album as a whole was leaving on people, like, how much of a window were you given, you know? Or, like, did you have before, like, it really, like processed for you? Because I'm sure it must have been, like, a very short window, because it kind of gained a lot of traction very quickly and had a lot of anticipation before it. So I was curious, from when the album launched to you really realizing, like, the impact of the album, how long was that for you?
From when it was on streaming, or from...
Anything specifically?
Oh, so from streaming, it probably took, like... Okay, I still, like, recoil a lot when I hear, like, people talking about how many streams this has gotten. I think we're, like, over 50K streams now.
Damn.
Which is really insane to me, and I recoil every single time that I was on a project that is this popular. But as the album was, like, being promoted, even before it was being released, I had multiple cry sessions about how I was going to be perceived. I was dead terrified before release, and then release happened. I had a panic attack.
Oh no!
I had a panic attack that this is, like, on streaming and everything, and I'm like, I'm so nervous. How are people going to react to this? You know, we did the premiere listening party, because there's the full album is in one video on YouTube on Kane's channel with synced lyrics and a visualizer if you wanted to watch it that way, if you wanted to consume it that way. I was shaking for the 58 minutes. The whole 58 minutes of that album, I was shaking. I was overwhelmed, to say the least, to see so much positivity as, like, the chat just rapid fire, boom, 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 peak, 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 peak. I sat there stunned that I was a part of this. And hearing people say that their favorite songs were the ones that I tuned, it brings joy to me. I want to cry. I've talked to Hypnoplasm about this in DMs and being like, Oomphy, I can't believe this, that, like, people are saying this album saved their life. People are saying that, like, for Machina is, like, their favorite song, and it was, like, absolute peak, and they're making theories and whole threads about it, and I don't think any of us really thought that this project was going to gain the attention and notoriety that it has.
Right. Like, I'm sure you guys, like, there was at least a part of you guys that knew, like, there would be people who would tap in But
yeah.
like kind of how I phrased it earlier, it's just like the active impact, the impression it is leaving on people. You know, like I know like we mentioned, like you mentioned it rather, earlier, that like it's at 50,000 streams. I assume it's like combined across the songs, right? 50,000?
I think so, yeah. Over 50K.
Right. And I think that in and of itself, like it might not have been anticipated to be this quick. It might not have been anticipated to have people really connect with your song so much to make theories or threads, or even going as far as to say that it's saving their life. Like I think that it really left a far bigger impact than initially anticipated as far as the, you know, initial reaction, the initial impressions would go, you know? So that's why I asked what I asked, because I know that, like, again, we all expected people to tap in, but we weren't sure what would happen after it made its splash, you know? We knew it was coming in from the diving board. We just weren't sure if it's going in pencil style or cannonball, you know?
And I think it really went in cannonball. I think
really Miley Cyrus wrecking ball of the pole, I
I think one of the first moments that like realizations like started to hit me that we were being perceived is that when we received fan art that of Mori, our beautiful daughter, Mori, holding the hands of both of the Damon Doll Tetos, and everybody was shipping Damon Doll Teto with Mori, and I think that's beautiful. Yuri, I love Yuri.
I do.
Gay people.
We love you, y'all.
But I think like just the fan art and the pieces of art, the fan art that's been made for Mori, and just Mori specifically this album's Ray. We have a name for her. Her name is Mori. I think the fan art just made me stop and think about how big this is getting. And of course I cried, and I'm gonna cry again because holy shit, I'm being perceived. What the fuck did I do to be here? I've only been tuning for a year, and I made it because like I asked my friend if I could tune for them. I made it onto one of the biggest albums so far in VSynth history, and I think is really something.
Grand. It's grand.
I'm trying to be like really humble about this and like be like, I seriously don't know what I did to get here, and everybody's like, your peak. But really, I don't know if I would have been able to make it this far without like a whole bunch of help from people in the community. So I really want to thank all of my friends and everything.
Oh, give them shout outs and then at them.
How? Well, most of, if not all of my friends are on Machina Mori, but I do also want to say a huge thank you to a whole bunch of people on the Mikoto team and just like the Vo Creatures team for just like kind of being there throughout it.
I mean, if you ever want, you can always just invite them over for an interview. I mean, you might as well feel like it.
Well,
Too soon.
Too soon. I'll think about inviting some people.
That idea. Yeah.
We'll think about it. We'll put a pin in it. I'm trying not to cry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I do want to say just one more thing because we do have one more topic, and we're getting real close to the hour mark. So let's keep this keep the ball
rolling.
Yeah, let's keep the ball rolling. However, Ocean, like, I'm like so happy for you and the others who worked on Machina Mori. Like, I think that it definitely will be a highlight of 2025 in the English vocalosphere, perhaps even just the vocalosphere as a whole. And I think this is really exciting. So I'm happy you were a part of it. Before I shift the topic though, Jazzy, if you could casually show the pre-order tweet again, For those who do not know, you can let me read this tweet once more. The Machina Mori store is officially live. Grab some merch while you can, and pre-orders are open until March 1st. So if you guys haven't done so already, which actually I would assume that by the time this goes up, it might already be too late. But
if you haven't, if you
Galleria.
we'll get to it. We'll get to it. But I think before the time of this recording, maybe it was a few days ago, we have reached half of our initial like pre-order expectations. This is going to be limited run for right now. We do have to contact Missile if we ever were to do a restock. So if by the time this is uploaded, it's past March 1st, 2025, or you're seeing this sometime in the future after March 1st, 2025, I'm so sorry that you missed out. I have no idea if there will ever be a restock, but if demand increases or we have a whole bunch of like sudden popularity, etc., we will try and get in contact with Missile for a restock. I hope that if you're seeing this by the time that CDs have shipped, which is estimated to be like late May or like early May, like in May, June, somewhere around there, I hope you enjoy all of your little goodies. Lucy Ellis worked so hard and created such stunning pieces, and I hope that you treat Mori with care.
Yes. But we do have another elephant in the room, and she's coming in stomping, okay?
She really is.
In this Synthesizer V Studio 2, the sequel. I'm really not sure where to start with this. So, first and foremost, I will just say that it is coming out, I think, March 27th. And it seems to be really leaning into the I'm going to choose my words carefully when I say this, but I might still flub it up a bit. But it really is leaning more into finding ways to make AI synthesis more streamlined. So if that's a thing for you, then I would implore you to check it out. For those who are still really into manually tuning stuff, I would definitely recommend holding on to your horses a little bit, but if you want to be on the safer side, definitely at least get them. If you already have SynthV 1 specifically, definitely try getting it while the discounts are up. A lot of the DT banks, Dreamtonic banks, I think Eclipse Sounds banks, a lot of them are on sale right now. So if grab them while you can, if that's something that interests you. But aside from that, I would like to kind of just have an open discussion about SynthV 2 as a whole, because there really was so much news that came out when we finally got like an official like demonstration and had all this stuff come out. I'm sure like we all have our own personal thoughts on it. So I will gladly give it to the first person who decides to speak on where this discussion goes. But as far as I'm concerned, it's as long as it's SynthV 2, anything goes. So wherever you guys want to start.
Kevin too stir crazy was a little bit of a mess. I'm sorry.
So first off, I want to say that a large chunk of the Dreamtonic banks are getting their updated versions of 2, which is just, their SynthV 2. It will be releasing with Uni, which is Uni.
Yes.
Uni. The Korean voice by. Mocha version 2. What else was there? Miki and Kyotaru SynthV will have. Well, they're releasing with it, but they will also have a SynthV 1 and a SynthV 2. And we confirmation on Halo and Pastel. They are for SynthV 2. And I believe they are exclusive to it.
Yes.
And Rose and Poppy will be receiving a SynthV 2 to go along with Halo and Pastel. And their SynthV 1s will be being discontinued.
Yes.
Oof. I think that was it.
In terms of releases, yes.
In terms of releases, yeah.
Oh wait, whoa. Yeah, there's upgrades. Actually, because I'm pretty sure I gave it to you, Jazzy. We can take a quick little peek at. We'll use Yuma's as an example. Now, if you can go to like the storefront and like go look at like Yuma's like I guess like comparison demo snippets. But while you do that, I'll give you some time. But I think that from what they've shown us, I think they're just like still like in progress bank. So obviously these aren't the final products. But I do think that for what they're going for, this is definitely a step in the right direction for them. I do like that. I've seen comments of people saying that the crosslang is more accented. It closely resembles the VP's native language a bit more, so their crosslang will be accented with that. And I think that's a net positive.
I mean, I gotta be real. Even though I am personally a big fan of where SynthV is going with this, just because just personal reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Just for reasons. There is a lot of positive in my opinion, but there is also a lot of negative for some people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I guess, do you guys want to go into that, or do you want to just keep it like strictly, this is what's happening?
I'm open. I just wanted to like get it out the way first before Jazzy like shows like some of Yuma's like little like snippets that I think we could start with like Amazing Grace if you want, Jazzy. Because that kind of might show what I'm talking about. But I think that by preserving like the accented tones of the VPs, not only gives them more character, which could help some of the Dreamtonic's vocals, but also kind of is a signal to us that like the multi-modal claw isn't forcing everyone to have a yassified given accent in any given language. Specifically, English was the most guilty of this. If you use older versions of English banks, specifically like Tato, for example, you can see how like while their English has improved, it like or like clarity, I guess you could say, they're already pretty understandable. They're like, while they preserved a bit of their tone, the way that they pronounced things was like very like, I don't know how to explain it. It just wasn't accented, so it just didn't feel like the Tato. It just felt like a Tato, but like not in a bad way. That's not bad. Like I'm not trying to knock cross-lane Tato right now, but I'm just saying that there's a uniqueness to preserving the tones to the degree of accents, you know? Because I know for a lot of people, like we've been for a long time wanting to see more diversity, particularly in English with accents, you know, because there's more than just American English. And so seeing them preserve crossling and like have those accents carry over would add to that diversity as well. Because like, let's take someone like 90, who to my knowledge is Australian. I would love to see how their crossling would sound now. You know, or someone who has like a more refined tone, like Eleanor, how her crosslang would sound. I know it's been like a joke that like early on Eleanor's crosslang was horrible, but as we saw with like SynthV 1, it slowly got better. So I just want to see where their crosslang is going. But if you want, Jazzy, you can begin playing Amazing Grace, sung by Yuma, and then we can comment on it after.
Oh, amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I am found. Was blind, but now I see.
Slay.
Where's my clapping soundboard?
Yeah, that accent really did shine through a little bit.
Agree. But yeah, I think that it's for what Dreamtonics wants, and that's more like really optimizing their AI. I would say that it's a step in the right direction for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys have any other comments either about Yuma or just anything at all?
I just
feel
miss
free to
having accents, so I'm glad.
I am too. I really do prefer things with more accented vocals. I just think they're more interesting, personally.
I just prefer.
However, I know there are some people who are a little upset because they want to have the option of being able to toggle it on and off. So hopefully one day that will be an option for those people. Another thing about the AI becoming a little bit more optimized, there is the downside for some people that manual mode might not be a thing for this one.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know there are a lot of people out there who are very upset about that, and I mean, I get why, because when I worked with V6 for a long time, and when you couldn't edit it smoothly, it just wasn't very fun.
Right. Like, it felt like the editor would be, like, fighting against you.
Yes. So to have manual mode not be there, it's just a very controversial thing for them right now. But I understand what they're trying to do. Now, to say that it's all bad is just not true, because the inclusion of things like mouth. We love mouth here. That's a really... I'm sorry, Jazzy.
Yeah, we love mouth here.
Okay. Okay.
I'm normal. Okay.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
Okay. The inclusion of it is huge, because we would had like the closest we've ever had to that is openness. But even then, like, there's shapes of the mouth that that produce different sounds. Like, it changes power, it changes like the tone, the nasal, all that good shit. So that's huge.
Like, incredibly big. Like, the amount of opportunities it opens tune-wise is insane.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think and hope that they do give more flexibility in ways that you can interact with SynthV 2. It would be ashamed if not.
Yeah.
But my optimistic glass half full ass is gonna say maybe this will be the push people need to try other editors, because I'm not saying I'm preying on SynthV's downfall. No. I'm above that.
But I feel some people have some nasty things to say, but I think it's a little bit overkill, guys. I get the upset, but like, give it some time, team. Give it some time.
Yeah, like I definitely agree with like some criticisms of it. I just will say that there are editors that give you that freedom you're looking for that maybe you haven't tried and maybe worth the investment. So glass half full, maybe this will encourage people to try new options they haven't considered before. But it is a shame that a lot of people who otherwise would be looking forward to SynthV 2 just kind of aren't entirely sold on it at the moment. And you know what? It's chill. I get it. And maybe in due time it'll change and grow the way that V6 has, but we'll just have to see as it goes, because SynthV 2 will definitely be something new for a lot of users, both current, new, etc. Well, I guess those are the only two, but you know what I mean.
I am one of those people who is very much not enthused. By the way, Jazzy, you're playing SynthV 1.
I sure am.
Also, I feel like this is some big news for some people who are going to be a little bit less than thrilled, but there will be no basic mode or no basic editor for this one.
No, there won't.
They have replaced it with SynthV Lite, which basically works exactly like V6 Lite, except there is only one track available and there are no parameters, badly.
Right.
I don't personally believe that is a deal breaker, because like basically just how I used Utau for the longest time. One track, no parameters that were flagged. But besides that, you can still get some good things out of just those little things.
Right.
But for some people who are used to like basic mode, that might be a deal breaker. But I mean, there's always V6 Lite and there's Chevio. I'm a fucking VoiSona. There we go.
Yeah.
And what else was there? Yeah, there was code sharing. Code sharing will no longer be allowed because it was never allowed. It's account based, basically.
Code sharing was never allowed, but they're going for the same thing that VoiSona is doing right now, which is account based. I don't know if Chevio uses an account base. Jazzy does it?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so
Well, no, Chevio doesn't. It uses one account per activation code. Wait. Girl. Okay, it uses one device per activation.
okay.
Gotcha.
So
So if you guys out there, I'm not trying to be that nag, but if you have somebody else's code that you bought from them, I know it sucks, but please do not use other people's activations that you bought from them in SynthV 2, because that steals from them. Like, if you primarily bought the Bang voice bank, it should be yours. And it's one copy per SynthV 2. Yeah.
Yeah. So like the very quick rundown for those who may not be informed, because it is very tricky to understand it giving their wording a bit. The idea is that for those who currently own voice banks, you would take the activation code that you have, go to the Dreamtonics website, and then register it to your account. And in doing so, you basically confirm, hey, Dreamtonics, this is my voice bank. And Dreamtonics goes, damn right it is. And then permanently, that bank is now binded to your account. So for owners who didn't do any code sharing, splitting, loaning, trading, etc., this is fine for them. But for those who did, I would heavily consider, actually, no, not consider. I will heavily demand you, okay, to make sure that if you are considering registering, that you do not, if you have traded your code, just to see who the original owner is. And if the original owner is okay with you or another individual registering that bank, then by all means be my guest. But I do think that it would be in very poor taste to register a bank that you did not buy in its complete entirety with the 3 activations, because you are essentially stealing from the original owner, but also not communicating to the other people who may have that code. It may be a bummer for them, because maybe if given permission from the original owner, they could have registered it. Who knows? The point of the matter is that if you did not buy your bank from a Dreamtonics DL site, AHS, or whatever official vendor that Dreamtonics has partnered with, or any other company has partnered with, I would recommend, if you exchange codes, to not register that bank. And for those who going forward will be buying banks, the way that this will work is very similarly. You buy the bank, you are given a code, you register that code. And because it's SynthV 2 and not SynthV 1 banks, you won't be given 3 activations, you will be given 1 activation. And just like with the reusing of your previous activation code for your SV1 vocals, it's a one-time use. So the moment you put it onto an account, it's binded there for life. So that's how it's going to be going forward. To my understanding, I don't think all SynthV 1 banks will be off like listing, maybe like the Dreamtonics ones, but I'm almost certain like ones that are from third parties like Eclipse, Sounds, or AO, there may be a bit like of a difference there. What I do know is the original editor, as Grim mentioned, will be no longer purchasable. So it's going to be a bit tricky. Things will change going forward, but as Grim put it very, very succinctly, code sharing is dead. So,
and your news, I heard that AO might be moving to SynthV 2, and I think Tokyo 6 that they're going to work on it soon.
AO, Eclipse Sounds, Tokyo 6, I think a decent portion of AHS banks, or like rather banks published by AHS. Like I know Teto's Twin Drill said that Teto will be getting a 2.0 soon. Internet Co., their wording is weird, but to my understanding, Gumi's getting an entirely new voice bank for the editor, but I could be wrong. We'll just have to see. I know she's at least getting a 2.0. But their wording made me think that she's getting a new bank. So we'll just have to see with that one. But yeah, generally speaking, there are like a few releases, particularly Miki, Kyoteru, Haro, Palette, Uni. Those are like the few I can name off the top of my head that are like native to SynthV 2. So that's really exciting. So yeah.
Halo and Galanaya, we got their designs, by the way.
Oh,
Havoc and Galanaya.
Having Galanaya. There we go.
Yeah,
That's cool.
They're cool.
Our last guest is incredibly gay and horny for Havoc, but yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Damn.
Galanaya, I
Really putting them out there. That's awesome. Right outside business. I'm jerking.
I don't know. I just think Havoc's design is a little bit. You look like I feel like I could go inside of a 7-Eleven at midnight and he would be there.
Jail.
I'd be very glad if he was there.
And I'm just like, is he trying to ask me for $1? Because oh my god, I'm not gonna give you $1, bro.
Help.
I love him.
I am definitely a fan of the designs that Rice Deity made for these. I don't have anything too much to say about the cover art, as stated on my Straw page and on my Twitter and on my Blue Sky. I will not be talking too much about Havoc or Galanaya, their standing art, because I have some personal issues, but I do like the designs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just wish she had a little bit more frill going on, you know? I just want frill.
I think with Galanaya and Havoc, like voice bank wise,
Oh my god.
Havoc, I am praying, that Havoc becomes a cover artist, producer fave. Just because they give us, I mean, they already have, but I want them to remain, like, to stay. Like, I don't expect them to be like Solaria SynthV 2 type beat, but like I do hope that they have some staying power in being like they fill a niche and they do it well. So that's what I'm like personally looking forward to in regards to Havoc's bank. With Galanaya's bank, I've heard nothing but good things about her Spanish, which is great news because I remember Saros having a bit more rough of a first impression. So to see Eclipse Sounds kind of do I don't want to use the phrasing a better job, but to improve upon what they've already done is really nice to see. And to see a really positive reception for it is really nice. I personally hope Galanaya outgrows the Prima 2 allegations because I feel like she's a bit more than just Prima 2. However, I understand for some people that is a good thing. So I'm chilling. But I do think that Galanaya, just like Havoc, brings something to the table that we haven't really seen. I really want to see her high ranges a bit more. Her demo was really good, but I want to see like her high ranges really like test her just because sorry, I'm not exactly well versed in singing types, but just to be clear, Galanaya is an operatic singer, right? I'm not making that up.
He's an operatic soprano.
Yes. So that's something we've never seen. Like we have a ton of like sopranos and stuff, but to have like an operatic one is definitely going to be new and really push the range of like, I guess, like just the engine, I guess. There really isn't anyone that rivals her if she has really good range, except maybe Felicia, who kind of tried filling that role just a little bit. But
hers is a vocal mode, so
yeah, hers is more of a vocal mode. So that's what I'm saying. Like Galanaya really stands out as like a voice bank that can do this one thing, just like Havoc, but is like geared for it. I
gotta be honest with you. I feel like Havoc is just 9-0, the second coming.
Definitely not.
I think that they definitely will be alongside 9-0 in terms of representing a genre, but I wouldn't go as far to say that they're 9-0 part 2, if that makes sense. Because to my understanding, and this was in a video on YouTube, so I'm not pulling this out of my ass. It was like an Eclipse Sounds person was interviewed at NAMM. They had said that Havoc has been in development at least for 2 years. At least. Yes. So that's why, given the fact that 9-0 released 2 years ago, it seems to me that they've been wanting this bank for a while. But I think given that they were given so much time with it, first of all, it's amazing given how they had to delay Saros, how Nil was kind of like one of the last like little hurrahs that they made for the Starry Court. Like, I think it's amazing that Havoc and Galanaya turned out the way that they did. But I definitely would not go as far to say Havoc is like 902, just because while they do both fill like a similar niche, Havoc definitely takes advantage of how SynthV has progressed over the years compared to 9-0. And it's why like 9-0 and all the other banks are getting 2.0s, because there's just something about the 2.0 engine. Whoa, wrong engine. There's something about the new editor that has 2 at the end of it, not to be confused with 2.0 from Chevio and VoiSona. There's something about it that definitely changes the tones and the flexibility of the banks that I think is really interesting. So I really do hope they add Manuel Mori because he seemed amazing. I'm sorry, you were saying, girl?
Yeah. I don't know if this is the right term for it, but I think it's transparency. Like, the vocals themselves are more transparent to the point where it's like it helps it sound more realistic because you can kind of hear the more natural sound of it versus like the engineer sound of it. Like, it's
I would say you're probably speaking to like the clarity maybe, but it's definitely like, I mean, since this is not a well-kept secret, SynthV is really about capturing the voice banks like a natural and realistic level, and for these like very niche banks, that's a very good like thing for them. So again, like I have a hard time saying that Havoc is 902 because like really Havoc is like their own bank and like really taking advantage of modern technologies, modern technological advancements, if I want to be quirky about it. But yeah, no, I really do hope they add manual mode, because I know for a lot of people, like just having more control over things would be really nice. But it seems to me that like, given what we heard in the demo, you can make it work, okay? It ain't gonna be easy, but we can do it.
But like, it's just the fact that nobody wants to have to like undo tuning. Like,
no, I agree with you. I agree with you. Undo tuning, rolling the AI retake monopoly, like or not monopoly, the gotcha. It'll be a minute before people like figure out a way to like tolerate it, I guess you could say. But I think just to save us the time and stress, it would be nice to have manual mode, because for a lot of people, like that's really all it is. And I would hate to see a lot of people who otherwise would enjoy Havoc have their experience limited to what the editor is capable of. And unless they can compromise with it being the SynthV 2 editor or it having their favorite vocalist, it will be a tough sell for a few people. And so for me, I do hope that SynthV 2 can get to a point to where voice banks like Galanaya, Havoc, Miki, Kyo. I mean, I know Miki and Kyotaru have their V1s, but like, they're SV1s. I do think that while some voice banks that have already come out or will be compatible with Synthesizer V1, any of those exclusive to Synthesizer V2 may struggle a bit. But, you know, we've been wrong before. I mean, Gumi was selling well, and I was at early V6, no less. And early V6 is not exactly known for being user-friendly. you know? So, or expansive in its coverage. I mean, only recently they start like trying to accommodate standard banks with XSY. So, you know, maybe SynthV 2 will have a similar glow up. We'll just have to see. But I would love to see people take advantage of these new banks that are coming. And who knows? I mean, we have Korean. There were talks of French coming at some point.
That's right.
Yeah, so we just have to.
We know how like Topaz exists on SynthV 1, right?
Correct.
She is technically getting Korean, but it's not for SynthV 1, it's for SynthV 2.
Yeah, and I don't know how her upgrades are gonna work, because to my understanding, upgrades are based on the company that owns them. So Dreamtonics had theirs up first because it's fucking Dreamtonics. But like Eclipse Sounds, for example, has like different pricings and even a sale on their upgrade. Miyama, I don't know her last name, but Mocha. Mocha, I think is giving. If I'm not mistaken, I think Mocha's being given out for free as an upgrade if you already own her, and then later on is $50. But sometimes it is $30. It really just depends on the company. So for Topaz to like properly take advantage of Korean, I think they would need a 2.0 upgrade unless Crosslang is a part of the SynthV 1 into SynthV 2 editor package. But I will just have to see. But yeah, no.
SynthV 1s will have access to the new Crosslang. Maybe they will.
I hope they will. But we'll just have to see. And to my understanding too, I could be wrong. I assumed that maybe SV2 would have like a functionality where SynthV 1 banks still have like a manual mode of sorts. I hope that's the case, especially since they're getting rid of SynthV 1. That's why I think is the most confusing with their like step in the direction, because I really do not mind them optimizing like auto pitch. If that's really what they want to do, be my guest. But I do think it's interesting to get rid of the alternative and then not have that like a part of it in the next one. But again, it's their product, so we'll see where it goes.
Ultimately, I feel like you're falling down the same trap that V6 and Chevio did when they first launched about, you know, the whole auto pitch is the way of the future. And they're just gonna have to learn their lesson that no, we really want manual mode.
I think because it's like partly a short-sightedness, partly because I think I was actually having this discussion earlier with Jazzy actually, but to me, auto pitch isn't the bad part of like why people get so enraged. Like, it's mainly just the limitations of sole auto pitch puts on a user, you know, producer, cover artist, person who just wants to make a quick demo, whatever. It puts a very strong limitation on what the program is understanding and what it's willing to do. And unless you're willing to take the time to understand it yourself, it might not be something you want to do, especially for seasoned vocal synth users who have other options, you know? So to me, that's partly why I think that it is a good idea for them to add manual mode. And while I'm sure there will be people who can learn their way through it or become accepting of auto pitch, whatever, it just is nice. It's just nice. That's all I can really say to it. I don't really have like a strong argument other than allowing people to interact with your editor in a way that is suitable and comfortable for them is always going to be a good thing. Regardless of what that way is, as long as it's like ethical, of course.
And on that note, I think we're running out of time here.
Yes. But very quickly, before we end the podcast, I would like to do a quick obligatory self-plug, self-promo. So for any of you, Jazzy, Graham, Ocean, who have anything you guys wish to share.
Oh, we can
then be my
stuff?
guest. Yes, of course. I want to start having about 3 of these podcasts. So, I mean, we spend so much time here. But Jazzy, you can start yours.
I make vocal synth covers. You can check out my channel. I just made a Kaito one. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Ocean?
Grim, do you have anything to promote? I can't hear you.
I'll take that as a no.
Okay. about you? Do you have anything to promote?
I don't have anything personal to promote, but I would implore you guys. Actually, I have two things. I will implore you guys to check out Machina Mori. I will implore you guys to go check out Vocal Creature's recent release, Shira. I would encourage you to go be nice to each other on the internet. That's not a promo. I just felt like saying it. And please check out anyone's content on their individual channels, whether it be mine, Jazzy's, Ocean's, Grimm's, or even while they are not here, Clazy's channel. We are all working on stuff, and we hope that you guys enjoy what we have to share with you guys, whether it be on this channel as a podcast, collab cover, or whatever. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
All right. For my promotion, today, actually, the date of recording is February 23rd. So today I released a cover of Dav P's Decalogue featuring Selena. I almost called her Serena. Fucking hell. Featuring VoiSona's Selena and also a Project Coraline vocalist, Ignatius Cadine. And speaking of PRCR, the editor view for the God-ish cover that I had tuned at the end of last year is now available on the Project Coraline channel. You will be able to see Coraline Sahimura, I think it's Castella, and all of her vocal modes, displayed vocal modes.
Sorry.
Basically.
Did we go over the plus banks?
No, actually. Well, we can save it for next time.
Yeah, we can definitely save it for next time.
It'll be aggressive to the release, so we'll be able to get more clarity. But very briefly, for those who don't know what a plus bank is, basically it is a standard voice bank that is adapted for AI synthesis. And so for voice banks of the past, I think the only ones we've seen on like a demonstration level would be the Medium 5 voice banks for SynthV 1. But there are rumors, or maybe I think confirmation, I'm not quite sure, of like Eleanor Forte Plus, which would basically be like her standard bank, but for AI synthesis. So we'll have to see what happens.
I
would love to expand on it. I would love to expand on that when we have more information and when we have more time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think for this episode, we're pretty much done, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes.
So, final words. Stream Machina Mori. Stream everybody else's stuff. Look forward to any more content in the future, whether it be from us or just in the community in general. Thank y'all for watching. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good rest of your week. Yes. And I hope you just generally enjoy life. Live, laugh, love.
Love, peace.
Life, love, peace. Thank you. That's the one I was looking for. And we'll see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.